Alright, guys. Let's take a look here. Let's see if this silly thing is working. Somebody please give me a sound check. I got a crazy hair day going on, guys. Let me put my earphones on so I can hear... Well, I guess I can't hear you guys, but I can hear something. How you guys doing? What the heck's going on? Alright, I'll wait to hear that the sound's not too loud, the sound's not too low. Everything's coming in loud and clear. Maybe it is coming in a little loud. Or maybe I'm just talking too much. I don't know. Alright. Alright, so it looks like we got a few people here already, which is good. I like to see that. So, just wait just a minute to see if everyone can hear okay. Just waiting for some comments. Make sure everything's coming out okay. Boy, do I got a show for you guys, though. Hopefully you can hear me. But yeah, I got a crazy good show for you in store for you tonight. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff here. And I'm just going to start winging it. I'm assuming you guys can hear me okay. If not, then it'll just be another disaster stream in a long line of disaster streams I've done. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so I want to talk to you guys. We've already done a stream before about Empire 2, but I don't know. I think we've left some things untalked about because there is some people making a lot of comments here lately and videos pertaining to CA's Total War titles that are going to be coming out. What's up, Nasty? How you doing? Well, let me get to the chat here just real quick before I get started. We got King Minecraft in the chat, Total Wars Master in the chat, Christian Miranda. Yeah, Total Wars Master. What's going on, man? I'm doing great, Nasty. I'm doing real good. Alright, so everybody can hear me, I'm assuming. Alright, good. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about some stuff going on. I don't know if you guys follow Melkor's channel, do you? Give me a shout out if you guys listen to Melkor's YouTube channel. Or also Admiral Prince. Do you guys listen to his channel? Anybody? Anybody out there listen to those guys? Hey, Wild Ride, how you doing? King Minecraft says, my army just beat France, UK, and Spain. That's good to hear. Howdy, y'all, says Ethan. Ethan, how you doing? Alright, so you guys, any of you guys follow Melkor or Admiral Prince? Total Wars Master says, nope. Yes to Admiral Prince. Okay. Corey says he does. Hey, Corey, how you doing? I might probably saying that wrong, but, you know, I'm from Texas and a dumb Texan, so that's typical for me. Minecraft King Minecraft does. That's good. All right, so for you guys that have been following that kind of thing, then you do know that they've been talking about upcoming Total War titles. They've been talking about uniting the historical fans so that they can get some stuff going on. Yeah, so there's a lot of topic of that. There's another YouTuber I want to talk about too, Vorland. I don't know if you guys know Vorland. Do you watch his channel? Any of you guys? So there's been a lot of discussion. You follow only me. Well, I appreciate that, Wild Ride. You must be in for a wild ride then if you only follow me. Because I am a wild, crazy dude. Alright, so King does as well. Okay, cool. So some of you guys do. Alright, so what I want to discuss is those guys have been putting out a lot of content about the future of the Total War community, if you will. Let me switch my screens here so I am getting on the correct thing. So hold on just a moment. There we go. All right, so we got a couple YouTubers, Melkor, we got Admiral Prince, and we have Vorland. Now, there's different perspectives from each one of them. Let's see. So, Melkor and Admiral Prince have been on this camp where they have basically launched a campaign to unite the tribes, if you will, from Melkor's own words, in order to get something out of it. And what they're trying to get is they're trying to get either some of the older games remastered, or they're trying to get a new historical title. So I just want to bring you guys up to speed on that. So here's what Melkor states that he wants. He wants three things, basically. Melkor says he wants to unite the tribes, meaning, in his words, the medieval 2 and the Rome community, the original Rome 1 communities, and bring them together so that they can amass their ideas and help push it to CA to get a new game put out. Now, keep with me. I know I've got on the title here about Empire 2, but it all goes into that because what they're trying to do is get a new historical title. So, by uniting the tribes, they feel that they want to be heard and be seen everywhere, and they want to, and by doing that, they're going to get what they want. So, Total Wars Master says he wants Empire 2. I think a lot of people do. Now, most of these YouTubers always crap on Empire Total War. Nobody of these bigger YouTubers like Empire whatsoever. They all hate on it, which it is a flawed game, but I would argue that all of the games are flawed in some way, shape, or form. So it's interesting that they always pick on Empire, and I think a lot of that is due to the fact that it is different from what they have a interest in. And a lot of their points that they make about getting a new Medieval 3 out or something like that is based on what their likes are. They're gravitating towards the audiences that are towards their channels. So what does that mean for us, the fans of Empire? Well, it means that they've got a voice out there that they're shouting for getting those things out. Apollo does like it, you're right. But I want to back up here just a minute, and I want to go over their argument, because there's an argument between Melkor and Admiral Prince, and I'm going to read between the lines for you, because there's actually a division here. You got Vorland, who just put out a video today, and I actually had planned on doing this stream before I saw he did this video. He did a live stream, I guess, on this, or I'm sorry, no, it was probably a, whatever. He released a video. So, basically, he says the red herring of Total War's historical versus fantasy argument, because that's what Melkor and Admiral Prince are arguing for, is the uniting the historical tribes, if you will. And in this video, Vorland makes some great points, and I'm going to get to those in just a minute. And I'm going to break all this down for you guys, because I think I've got something I want to say about this, because there's been a lot of topics about this. These guys are getting thousands of views, so that means they're reaching thousands of people on this topic, and I have something to say about it. So I'm going to take my moment to talk about it. So let me get to the chat here real quick, and I'm going to get to my points. Let's see. Total Wars Master says protest at CA. Yeah, get our picket lines going. Kingdom of Stren fully supported them. Apollo liked it. Yep, that doesn't like because people didn't watch it. True, they mostly play Napoleon Total War. I happily only game Rome 1. I can't care for Empire Total War or Napoleon Total War. Okay. So, to top on those points real quick. Okay, so Napoleon Total War versus Empire Total War. I want to discuss that real quick. Actually, believe it or not, more people play Empire Total War than Napoleon Total War. And there's a very easy way of explaining that, and I think it's pretty obvious, because Empire Total War is more of a campaign game and less of a multiplayer game, where Napoleon Total War is more of a multiplayer game and less of a campaign game. And why is that? Because Napoleon Total War takes a step back from what Empire was, with the big map that Empire had, the scale of it, and shrunk it down, and it was kind of a should I say map shock, if you will, when you went to Napoleon Total War and you had less of a map. You wanted more. You wanted a global scale again. But Napoleon Total War, what it does have is a pretty good multiplayer community. It's a very good multiplayer game, so they got a lot of people that play that. But Empire Total War actually has a bigger player count every single day, way bigger than Napoleon. So let me back up here, and I'm going to go through basically what Melkor and Admiral Prince have been bringing up on their channels, because they have been bringing up quite a bit. As you can see, Admiral Prince, I mean, we can go through, let's see, I think it was about a month ago, this whole, or actually back to December, that this whole topic started coming up. And basically, yeah, I think Total War needs this in games yesterday. He's been arguing for stuff, but now they have really started this join the Total War Revolution discussions. And what they're talking about in it is the arguments that Melkor made in one of his videos. If I go to his channel, he made a point that Rome 1 has a bigger fan base than what you see, because you can't just take the Steam numbers for how many people are playing on Steam, because Rome came out when it was basically on disc. Excuse me. So you don't know how many people play Rome still playing it on disc. Now, that is an interesting argument. However, I will counter that argument just for the sake of playing devil's advocate. Because I actually own Rome 1 when I had it on discs, and I played thousands of hours. But you know what happened to my discs? One of them got lost in some of the several moves I made. The others got scratched up by my kids. So basically, the discs for Rome 1 are basically worthless to me because they don't work. And then I had to purchase it on Steam to get it. Now, Medieval 2, I actually still had on disc, and I transferred to disc to Steam, so I had it. But with Rome, I'm not so sure that most of the people that have discs still play on the discs. I think most of the people have moved them to, moved it over to Steam and play it on Steam anyway, because that's what I did with Rome. Total Wars Master keeps bringing up Empire 2. Let's see. I thought I saw somebody said they have it on disc. Oh yeah, Wild Ride says he has the CD. I do as well. I still have my scratched up copy of one of my discs, and it's so I'm not sure that's a great argument to make. That I think there's definitely a very large fan base for Rome. Rome 1 is an excellent game, and it's a game that I played thousands and thousands of hours of enjoyment and loved. Now, some of the other arguments they make is they're basically wanting Rome 1 and Rome 2 to be remastered. However, I think they always forget about Empire. I think Empire is more important to have a remaster than any of the games. Empire, hey Rick, what's up, man? Empire is a game that so much of it was left out at release. They had so much things that they wanted to put in it. I don't know if you knew this. I talked about this in the last stream. They actually had in the game, in the background of the game, they had it set up to where you could research tech for the prone position for your light infantry. So that way you could put your light infantry in prone position. not just the what do you call it, the light infantry doctrine. So it was going to be a tech that you researched after that, where you could have your light infantry actually drop down into prone position to make them less easy to shoot. Wild Riot says only he plays Rome on CD still. Yeah, probably. I'm sure there's quite a few, but I'm not sure it's the numbers they're thinking. But in Empire, there's so many things left out of the game. They were actually going to put in the game hurricanes and massive storms that would hit around the Caribbean and cause devastation that you'd have to deal with. That's in Empire 1. It just wasn't put into the game. There was wounded soldiers that were animations are actually made in Empire, but they don't have it in the finished game. The game was never optimized. The game was never meant to be on the 32 versus the 64-bit processors. So there's a lot of things about Empire that's been left out. And if those things were optimized, I think Empire 1 would be so much better of a game than it is even now. And I happen to actually really enjoy Empire 1 on its own as it is, obviously, or I wouldn't have the I don't know how many hours I got now, but I'm sure it's god-awful a lot. I've got 8,240 hours in Empire. And so obviously I like Empire as it is. Now, does that mean it's perfect? No, it does not mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean it's perfect by any way of the means. But it doesn't mean Rome's perfect. It doesn't mean Medieval 2 is perfect. It doesn't mean any game's perfect. Hell, it doesn't mean the new game that comes out from CA is going to be perfect. It's simply not going to be perfect. There's always going to be something wrong with the games that they put out. Now, the question is, are they fun? That's the question. I can deal with problems that a game has if I get enjoyment out of it. And I think that's the biggest thing. Is it fun to play? Do I enjoy it? Is it just flashy? I mean, I want to have something that I actually enjoy playing. Not that's just a slog and a boring thing. I don't play those games. I mean, if you don't believe me, I mean, I own the last game I ordered or I bought from CA of the Total War series was Rome 2. Where is it? Rome 2. And I've got 48 hours in Rome 2. So I'm sorry. I just didn't find it enjoyable. I knew it fairly well off. I've tried to go back to it a few times and I just don't have the enjoyment in it. And I think a lot of other YouTubers put out there why it is. I mean, the arcadiness of it, the fact that you have to have a general to build armies. I mean, all those things are on other channels. I think we all know that. Rick Gamer says Troy looks terrible. I'm going to go to the chat for just a moment while I gather my thoughts here. Wild Ride says only me play still on CD. Okay, yeah, I saw that already. May colonialism will be added. Colonialism, I think that's the thing about Empire that made it great is the fact that you could go all over the place and explore all over the world and expand your empire. Yeah, your King says his PC crashes when he plays Empire. I think is what he's talking about, and yes, that's a thing. I mean, there's those things that happen when you play Empire, especially in multiplayer, when you're playing with other people, because everybody has different PCs and it just can't keep up with it. So when we play multiplayer all the time, we have crashes all the time. And says they'll add block pack as DLC. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't mind a DLC as long as it's got good content. I don't mind paying extra. What I do mind is when they severely exploit us, pulling every penny out of us. So those are the problems I have. Rome 2 has been fixed, kinda. You know, I've heard that a lot, Corey. But the thing is I think some of the basic fundamentals about Rome 2 is what I don't like. And that's the battles, number one. The battles just don't have the length. They end too quickly. You're just not able to get the tactics that you want to have on the battlefield. One mistake and you're done for very quickly. Mark says when you accidentally delete your backup files for Empire. Yeah, I know. I've been there. This was brought to you by the guy who deleted. Yeah, I've done it too, Mark. So I feel you on that. So here's the thing. The argument that they're making, I think they make some good points. They're wanting to unite the historical community. However, I don't think their vision is very clear. That being Melkor or Admiral Prince. I think they're both great guys. And I think that they have a sincere belief. And I think, especially with some of the content that Admiral Prince has put out, he cares about making sure that people are respected. And that's something that's very big for me. Making sure that people are treated with decency, dignity, and respect. If you guys been with the channel for a while, you know that's big with me. It's actually very huge with me. But it doesn't mean that I agree with everything that they say. And the reason is I think they need better vision on what they're doing. And because really by the end of the day, CA, you got to understand, is a corporation. And that's something that Admiral Prince actually brings up in one of his videos where he's talking about mods for the games. And he was talking about that CA, let me see. He was talking about CA doing away with mods, being able to expand the maps for mods. I think it was what it was. Total War will never be fully moddable again. Now, this is something I'd never heard about until I watched this video. If it's true or not, I don't know. I'm sure it is. I'm sure he's seen somewhere that it is. Because, like I said, he's a very respectable guy, and I would agree. I don't know if agree is the right word, but I would believe that anything he's bringing up on his channel, he has done some research on it. But it doesn't mean, again, that I always agree with them. And I'm going to explain to you why I don't agree with the Total War never being moddable again, is because of the reasons he says. Now, what he says is he thinks that they aren't going to make the new games fully moddable again is because it puts too much shelf life on the games. And if you have too much shelf life on the older games, they won't buy the newer games. So I disagree with that 100%, and I'm going to explain to you why. And I'm going to put it to you like this. Every business has a business model that they go after. Now, that business model can change, but what they do is they have a strategy that they have, and they execute that strategy. They're not going to just change it on a whim because of something. Now, I'm going to go to the chat real quick because I want to see what you guys are saying. Wild Rice says, true. Mark says, it's kind of stupid asking it on Steam, but does anyone know how to undelete files? King says, I just screenshot to you. And N says, I don't like mods anyway. You know, it's funny. I have had mixed feelings about mods as well. Here's my thing. With the mods I played back in Rome, I played Empire Total Realism. That is the first mod I ever played. And I thought it was a fantastic mod. I thought it was just a very well done mod, and I really enjoyed it. It made the game way better for me. Not that I don't like vanilla, because I do love vanilla. But for Empire, I really struggle enjoying the mods. I really do. And I know that's going to break a lot of people's hearts because I know that Darth mod is a very popular mod. And it's one that people love. And most of the Empire videos on YouTube are going to be Let's Plays of Darth mod. If you see a Empire Total War Let's Play. I think Darth mod does some things very well. The game looks more polished. I think I really love the uniforms that they made in them. The font size mod is the best one. That's funny. It saved me from being blind. Yeah, I feel you on that. But for me, with Darth mod, I think it takes some of the fun out of the game and makes it a bit of a slog. But that's my opinion and that's my preference. It doesn't mean it's everyone's. So getting back to what the topic that they have is, they're saying that they're doing away with moddable content. Again, is from Admiral Prince, that because it extends the shelf life of a game and they can't make profit because you won't buy a newer game if you are able to fully mod a game like Third Age Total War. Now, I find this to be incorrect, and I'll explain to you why. If a company extends the shelf life of an older game, it is only going to help them to be able to sell newer content. And why is that? That's because you have people playing on your content that you've created. They become fans and they become they have fun and enjoyment on your games. It's going to make them more likely to purchase newer games, and that is a fact. It's almost the same as if you're collecting comic books and you find an artist that you really like. You're more than likely going to follow that artist, whatever title that they go to. And I know it's kind of a different topic, but also let's talk about something else that's different. That business plan wouldn't work for Lego, would it? I mean, I know it's a toy, but Lego is probably the most moddable thing out there. I can go on the internet right now and we can find people making mods of Millennium Falcons from Star Wars that look way better than anything Lego's put out themselves. And they even put the directions on how to build it. But people will still go and buy the new Falcon set when it comes out. So that, to me, right there, destroys that argument. Get back to the chat here. Wild Ride's got to go. Thank you, Wild Ride. I appreciate you for joining the stream. Corey says, yep, that's how marketing works. And he says Empire 2 would be profitable, but I think it would need Steam mod support instead of file running. Yes, agree 100% there. I've had friends ask me how to do mod installment. Yeah, you know, the thing is mods, I don't know how people do it. It's amazing the quality that they can do. It doesn't mean that I enjoy every single mod, but I do have a lot of respect for the people that do mods because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and they're doing it for free. So you got to appreciate the fact that they're putting a lot of heart and soul into modding these games to give you a different experience. So that is something that needs to be stated. But again, with Admiral Prince and Melkor, I think some of the things that the topics that they're bringing up, I think some of them are very flawed, and I think they are trying an approach where they seem to be trying to be the nice guys on the block and being friends to CA and so on and so forth, and basically trying to make excuses for some of the things that CA is doing, in my opinion, which I don't think we need to defend CA in anything that they're doing. They have their own PR people. They don't need a YouTuber to do PR and run PR for them. Instead of mod support, we need more campaign options in Empire Total War, like pirate campaign, etc. Agree 100% there. If they consider making Empire 2. Okay, so let's get over to the Empire 2 topic. Will they ever do an Empire 2? It's funny because in Melkor's argument, he says if we unite the tribes and we do this, no matter what historical title, within the next couple decades, all the titles will get done according to him. I don't know about you. I'm 48. I'm about to be 49. I can't wait a couple more decades for a new Empire 2 to come out. That's just crazy. I mean, he's a young guy, so for him, that's okay. But for 20 more years, that's just insane. And that's why I'm the first one to tell you, I'm not brand loyal to CA. If another competitor comes out with a product that's a Empire-like game, then if it looks good, I will pick it up and check it out and see if it's good. It might not be good, but it would be worth the opportunity to see something different and see what it can be expanded on. Need I not remind you that there was basically an Empire Total War before Total War ever did it? And if you don't believe me, let me see if I can find it here. Here's a game I actually had on disc before and lost the disc as well. I had to repurchase it on Steam. Here you go. Imperial Glory came out. Let's see. When the hell did it come out? Hush it. I don't want you playing. It came out in 2005. That's the year Rome 1 came out, ladies and gentlemen. Rome 1 came out, and this little gem came out back then. Now, is this a perfect game? By no means is it a perfect game. But the thing about Imperial Glory is it kind of paved the way for the empires of the world. Where the hell did it go? I don't know what happened there. But anyways, Imperial Glory paved the way. The naval battles were extremely similar to what you get in Empire. I mean, extremely. You could capture the ships. Hell, you could capture artillery in this game. That was pretty cool. And also, when you run down guys, you could capture them, and then you could sell them off as prisoners of war, or you could choose to execute them, which was pretty cool. I mean, those are some great things. A lot of people, there's not too many people that talk about this game. It was an older game. It's hard to go back to it after playing Empire. It really is. I've tried. It's very hard to go back to it after playing Empire, because it does show its date, but there was some cool things in it. And so we can't say that CA is the only one that can do a Total War style game, because this game, it was turn-based, ladies and gentlemen. It was turn-based, and then the battles were real-time. So CA is not the copyright owners of this style of game. And furthermore, here's another game I had back on CD way back in the day. And I'm going to show you how old this game is. But this is the first time I had a game that was the style of what we have today in Total War games, of turn-based and then the battles being real-time. This was the first experience I had in that. Lords of the Realm 2. And this game was super cool. It doesn't really... It's hard to play on the newer PCs, or at least to screen record them for some reason. But it's only $3. I mean, these old games are super cheap, and it's a lot of fun. Had a lot of the mechanics. The old battles, this is the actual battles that are really cheesy. But this is the first time I ever played a turn-based game that was real time, because back when all those Civilization games were coming out, I always had a love for these turn-based games. And for me, the combining of the two things, the turn-based and the real-time battles, was just awesome. And then when I got Rome, because I got Imperial Glory first, and then I got Rome just shortly after that. And when I got Rome, oh man, I love Rome 1 for Total War. So Total War did it better than anybody else. But it doesn't mean that they're always going to be the best at doing it. Somebody else could come along. Again, they don't have the copyright on this type of formula of real-time battles and turn-based tactics in the campaign map. Armageddon is coming. It sure could be. Knights of Honor. It does look cool. Knights of Honor 2 looks very cool. So interesting stuff to think about here, guys, because I think we put all of our eggs in one basket and we forget about the new games upcoming. I mean, there's a new game upcoming from an independent developer that looks really cool. The Knights of Honor 2 Sovereign looks extremely good. You have Manor Lords coming out, which looks fantastic. So there's a lot of things coming up. So we can't put all of our eggs in one basket and just hope for Empire 2, because our expectations will lead to disappointment, because not always will we get what we want, but who knows, there might be somebody else come out with a game that plays on that and expands upon what CA does. So I don't think there's a problem with people out there putting out content that says this is what we want. People like Vorland, even though I think sometimes he goes a little bit to the crazy side with some of his topics, but Vorland is a guy who makes extremely good points in his arguments. Extremely good points. Now, I think he's a bit of a drama king in the chats, because he dwells on the negative stuff too much. Because there's always going to be people who don't like what you say and are going to beat you down. You just got to move past that, you know. And sadly for him, he dwells on that too much. Let's see. So anyways, King Minecraft says his PC can't handle it. You got to get a new PC, Minecraft. I know that's easier said than done, right? Okay, so anyways, Vorland counters their historical versus fantasy argument, and I won't talk too much on it, because he makes some great points. I do suggest you watch his video. He does make some great points. I don't always think he's as positive as Admiral Prince. Admiral Prince is a very positive guy. I agree with him, disagree with him. Again, he's very respectful and does a great job in presenting his arguments. Bears fan, what's up, man? Hey, Faramir, I was checking out Men of War Assault Squad 2. How do you feel about that game? Men of War 2, I actually have, and I've played it a little bit. I actually got it for my oldest son, and I've played 75 minutes, because it's, I don't know, like, it's for me, it's a little hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit of a difficult game for my old brain to do, and also I was talking to somebody earlier, just a little bit ago on chat, and actually another friend of mine too earlier in the day, about getting other games and playing other games, and I'm a pretty busy guy. I just don't have super lots of time for other games. Doesn't mean I don't get them. I do, but I don't have super tons of time to play other games. I do enjoy Empire, and I have a lot of friends on Empire playing multiplayer, so that's where a lot of my energy does go. It doesn't mean I won't get new games and play new games, and maybe future put those games up there, like Knights of Sovereign 2. Maybe I'll get that and put it on the channel and say what I think about it. Maybe play it a little bit, but I always will be playing Empire. the original Empire, because I do have a love for it, the game, how it's played, and it is a lot of fun to me. Mark says, go to my forum to say what you think. I just sent the thing. Okay, cool. You just, okay, hold on. Just sent the thing to Total War forums. Okay. Where's your forum at? King Minecraft says all gunfire and PC sounds like airplane. Yeah. I don't have kids. Cool. I don't know. You have kids. Cool. Yeah, I do have kids. I've got 3 of them. So yeah, my kids keep me pretty busy. I mean, they're obviously going to be a huge priority for me. So I mean, the other thing is too, like my kids do get on my PC too, so that takes away some of my time. When I have time to play games, sometimes they're playing games. So I don't even, my PC is not even my own, and I bought them a great PC too for them to play. But I have 3 kids, so obviously all 3 of them can't get on one PC at the same time, and they get on both of the PCs and play stuff like Among Us and stuff like that. Pretty crazy stuff, I know. That and Roblox. Minecraft would love that. They play, I know Minecraft plays a lot of Roblox. Okay, general discussion. Okay. I'll try and find it. Hit me up on Steam too, and send me a link, because I'm sometimes terrible about finding that. Also, guys, if you want, you can find me on Steam and send me a friend invite, and I will accept your friend invite too. But anyways, getting back on top, Vorlon kind of destroys a lot of their argument. So I get the whole purpose of this video is, I think Melkor and Admiral Prince, they need to come up with a better and more focused what they really want, because I don't think they really fully know exactly what they want themselves. Just from my view, I think they need to watch themselves some Simon Sinek, because he is great about finding out what you want. And I say that because with a business like CA, they have a business plan that they have, and they have it set up for probably years down the road where their direction's going. So no matter what you try to get done today, they've already set in motion what they're already developing games for 2 to 3 years down the road of what their path is, because they have a strategy of what they want to put out and what's selling for them. So even though I might not like Warhammer 2, obviously there's tons of people that do, and there's tons of people that are buying it. Even though I don't like Troy, there's tons of people buying Troy and playing Troy, even though I don't like some of those other ones. They don't. Yeah, Rick, you're right there with me, brother. In 20 years, yeah, there's no telling if there's going to be a Faramir around. David might not be here to do Faramir's Rangers in 20 years. We don't know. I ain't got 20 years to wait around for an Empire. Empire 2. Somebody's got to get cracking on it, and if CA ain't got the time for it, brothers and sisters, let me tell you, somebody else needs to get on that ball and do it. Heck, even if it's a Total War, Civil War, I don't care. Something with some muskets and something. Revolutionary War, anything. But I would love to see it on a global scale. And like I said, I don't care if it's historical. Hell, it could be set in that time period and be all fictional nations, so nobody gets their feelings hurt, where you could customize your flags and what your nation looks like. To me, that would be freaking cool. That I could say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pick my nation, and it just randomly generates where your nation's gonna be on the map. You don't even know. You're customizing your map, your government structure, all that stuff, what you want it to be. To me, that would be freaking cool. It doesn't have to be the world as we know it. It could be some fictional world. Heck, that would be cool. It could have the similarities of what the historical battles were like during that time period, but just with fictional nations and a fictional world. I mean, this doesn't have to be exactly that. That's how you do a American Civil War type of game. If it's too controversial for you, like these people think, you could have that type of game and just not make it the American Civil War. You can make it something else. And I think that's why a lot of game makers aren't making the Civil War, because they feel it's too controversial. Heck, stop being stupid, people. You can make a game that's seems like it's the American Civil War, but it's not. You know? But that's just David's brain working here. Let me go to the chat for a minute and see what you guys are. Don't forget, guys, we got the live chat going, so hit me up in the live chat. Let's see. King says, I will be here. I remember you when you pass at the Battle of Concord. Oh, yeah, me and Minecraft just played a 1v1. Which one was it? It was the scenario battle. The one with the river crossing. Me and Minecraft just did that. Was it this week or last week? I don't remember. But anyways, and says you need to pay $20 to customize your flag. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just get a simple game and put it out where it's one base price. Only have to pay one price. You know, we don't even have to do all this DLC stuff. If they want to put out something where it expands the map or something like that, and does some big changes, then hey, I'll pay an extra $10 for that. But thank you, Mark. I'll get that friend request accepted. But it doesn't have to be just that straightforward. I mean, you can make it simple here. It doesn't have to be historical. And then you don't have to have people whine, that's not historically accurate. You know, you lose all that stuff. Thomas, what's up, man? Rome 1 Remastered is the most important because it just plain doesn't work on modern hardware. I agree with you. We're talking oldest first. That is the order that they should fix the games first. Yes, they should fix them. But they should have teams working on each one. So they can put them out quickly. And I do agree with you. Rome should get the priority to remaster Rome. I don't think they'll remaster, Shogun. The first Shogun, I don't think they're going to remaster. I think it's too old. But Rome could be remastered. Medieval 2 could be easily remastered. The newer the game, the less work it should take. But I think Empire should also be a priority because the game is still broken in a lot of places. The game still needs a lot of fine-tuning. They never went back and fixed a lot of the things, a lot of the bugs that it has. King says, my own cannon blow up my own army. Oh, sorry. Okay, I gotta talk about that now. King, you brought it up, so I gotta talk about it. Okay, so in that 1v1 battle me and King did, we're doing that scenario battle, America versus Great Britain, and he was playing USA, and they have tons of artillery, and Great Britain only has a couple, and he knocked out a couple of my artillery pretty quick. I only had one left, and he still had like 5 or 6. Well, anyways, I had my guys hidden around the corner of one of the hills, and I guess he had his artillery on automatic fire, so his artillery was trying to shoot me off the corner, and he ended up shooting 2 of his own artillery. It was great. That was a good one. All right, let me get back to the chat. Empire Total War, they should add something about slavery, but they probably feared people would try to kill them. See, the thing is slavery is a hot topic here in the United States, and So I can understand them not wanting to deal with the slavery issue. That's what I'm saying. They could do it in a fictional world where it's fictional nations and it doesn't have context in the world we have today. Field Marshal, how you doing, man? I appreciate you joining the chat. Great channel. Also, Rick Gamers in the chat. Another great YouTube channel. King Minecraft has a YouTube channel. Guys, don't forget to hit up these guys' YouTube channels. Field Marshal says for Empire, I mean, yep. Okay, sorry, I missed this. He says, I'd like some more firing drills like volley fire instead of just fire at will or fire by rank. And I agree. That goes back to the point that I was making earlier that in the mechanics of the game, Empire 1, they had to where they were going to research prone position for the light infantry. And I mean, that's other things that they could have added in. Volley fire would have been really good to have as another option. I agree 100% there. Mark says, let's see, in Empire, abolish of slavery gives you a disadvantage. It does, but it does help the lower classes. Let's see. Field Marshal says you can abolish slavery in the and Napoleon. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played Napoleon as much, but I'm sure you're probably right. King says, going back to the artillery, yep, he definitely killed him. That was good. I was teasing him in the game too. It was like, Minecraft, you killed your own artillery, brother. Field Marshal says that would be kind of messed up. Sorry, I missed this. Not abolition, but there should be ways to use slaves or things like that. And then, I'm sorry, Field Marshal says that would be kind of messed up. But it did happen. It did happen. Honestly, I don't even think that's the thing that they need to put in the game. I think you can make a game without putting it in there. I mean, I just don't see the need to put in slavery, the actual using of slaves and so forth. I don't think it needs to be a necessary thing in games mechanics. Like doing it as tech to where when you abolish slaves, well, I mean that's fine. It gives you certain negatives and positives that were factual to the time. I'm fine with that. Tech like that's fine, but actually using slaves, I don't think they even need to do that. Contemptible, what's going on? Hello, just got here. Yeah, welcome. Appreciate you coming. Bears fan, just upkeep the plantation, I think. See, just like you're saying, I mean, they got the plantations in Empire, but you don't actually see any slaves, laboring and doing laborious work in there. So, I mean, it's not like something you got to put in people's face. Because if I was a person that had family that was enslaved, that would probably not make me very happy either. Mark says, gotta go. See you in the next stream. Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate you for joining along. We will see you on the next one. Old Contemptible says, Field Marshal not without mods. Yeah. And says, I also play Victoria 2 and there's lots of content blocked or not added because of Americans. Yeah, us crazy Americans, we happen to hurt the everybody for our craziness. But I guess a lot of the world did have slaves, so it is all over. But anyways, back on the topic, I think for Admiral Prince and Melkor, with their wanting to unite the tribes, as they've put it, I think that they need a better direction on what they want. I think they need to figure out what their why is. Why do they want to unite these tribes? And it should, in my opinion, it would be more important to unite the community so that you can at least enjoy the games that you have now, and then at least hope for games that you might get in the future. But there is still games that, guys, I hate to bring this up, we've already paid for. We've already paid for these games. And we should get as much enjoyment as possible. I don't agree with Admiral Prince's argument that modding and all that and adding to the shelf life hurts CA's profitability. I think that's ridiculous argument. To me, it is absolutely ridiculous. I got to get a drink. Sweet tea time. Anyways, I think that's a ridiculous argument because, again, increasing the shelf life keeps people involved in your products. You got to keep people involved in your products. It's like saying if Oreo comes out with double stuffed Oreos and people enjoy the double stuffed because they modded the original, they're not going to buy the mint Oreos because they got the modded original that's double stuffed. I mean, it just doesn't make sense in any world. If people enjoy your product and they have an appreciation for what quality you're putting out, they're going to buy the new stuff. It's a fact. Rick says, Black Crypt, great game. I don't know that one. Let's see. King says, our first war with UK. UK says to from. Anyways, so I think they need to figure out what their why is. Why are they wanting to unite these tribes? What are they wanting to do? And I think I've been clear about why, I'm doing this YouTube channel and what I want to get out of putting out the content I put, because, this is a way for me to connect with you guys and to help other people and, get out there and do things and be more creative and come up with new ways. That's what I want. I want to inspire people to be better people, to do better things. And we can get that through communication with each other. And a lot of that we get through playing the games. And that's what I find most enjoyable about multiplayer. And, like I was saying earlier about Vorland, he makes some great points, kind of hurts their argument a bit. But also Vorland makes some mistakes in some of the things he brings up. He's talking about how CA doesn't support the multiplayer community, and I don't think he's correct in that. I don't think Vorland's 100% correct in a lot of his arguments either. Old Contemptible says, is legendary history such as King Arthur a good compromise between fantasy and history aesthetics, or is it the worst of both? I don't think people care. I agree with what Vorland's argument is. People don't care. If you put out a Lord of the Rings game, I think people would enjoy it and buy it. A matter of fact, Admiral Prince destroys his own argument because he even brings that up himself. So we don't have to have necessarily just a historical title come out. It could be a fantasy title, but it should be a fun game. That's the most important thing that we need to talk about, is if CA is going to put out a game, it should be freaking fun. It should be something we enjoy to play. It could be about whatever. I don't care. It could be about animals fighting. It could be about the dog clan and the cat clan, and fuck, I don't care. Give them some freaking catnip and put them into battle, man. I want to see some wars, Let's see who the dogs reload their muskets faster than the cats. I don't care. Let's see some type of battles that are cool and fun. Let's be creative here and get something going. Because, like I said, we can't sit around waiting for 20 years. If it's not CA, then it needs to be a competitor, folks. It needs to be a competitor. Because me and Rick ain't going to make it that long, guys. Me and Rick Gamer ain't going to be here forever. So, at least for us. And it's funny I bring that up because, heck, there's movies I'm like when Lord of the Rings came out, obviously, I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings, with my name being, the channel's name being Faramir's Rangers. But when Lord of the Rings came out, I remember like, God, I hope nothing happens to me before the Return of the King comes out, because I want to make sure I see that movie. That's how I feel about wanting a new game that improves upon what Empire did. And it doesn't mean that I don't find Empire enjoyable. It doesn't mean that I won't still play Empire, because I will, because there's I think every game is flawed. And I think that you can respect the fun that you have at a game, because Empire to me is a very fun game. Even though it does have problems, it does still have a lot of enjoyment for me. So there's that. Arthur is my name and I'm part British. Minecraft. You might be King Arthur's long lost relative there, brother. You might be of royal blood. We never know. Who we know, huh? Ooh, bye. I've been talking a lot. I need a new drink here. All right, so I guess the bottom line is when we're talking about these things, I think, like Admiral Prince is saying, you have to be respectful of people, but you also have to have the right direction in what you want, whatever your goal is that you're trying to get. So there's that. See, Old Contemptible says, combined land-sea battles would be a nice sight to see. It's why they added the bomb catches originally. That's a great point. And they obviously added that to Shogun. But I don't necessarily think that Shogun did it 100% right either. Even though Shogun 2 is a really good game as well. Again, every game has got flaws. And, you got people like Vorland who only praise Shogun 2 and that's his game. Where my game's Empire, Shogun 2's his game. So obviously, he's going to shit on Empire and all that, which I find Shogun fun. I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't like it better than Empire. But that's just me. I think it's where the arcadiness started, was Shogun 2. But I would love to see that too. Naval battles and land battles where you have a fort at a coastal battle where they're actually being bombarded from the ships, just like you do in history. I mean, it was a fact. You had naval bombardments back then, and I think that would be doable, and it could be done, and it should be done. Just like they should have, like you used to have in Rome, where when you go to the battle map, it should represent where you're at on the campaign map. I think those are necessities. It was taken out in Empire. Now, I think even Medieval 2 it was taken out. But it was in Rome. Rome 1 had it. Where when you went into battle, you were basically where you were on the campaign map. Why they took that out, I don't know. Maybe it's too hard to put in the game. I don't know, but they need to figure out how to get it back. Because it really immersed you into the game and gave you some immersion. And also, the other thing I loved about Rome was when you fought a battle, they put the little X with the swords, and so you could see on the map there was a big battle that happened there. It was like a I can't even speak, commemorating that spot. Just like when I'm driving around on the road and I see a historical landmark on the side of the highway, it commemorates that event. That's what I loved about Rome. Rome 1 had that, and I think Empire doesn't have that, but Empire has things that Rome doesn't have. Obviously, Empire has naval battles, and Rome didn't have that. And Empire did naval battles better than any of the other games, in my opinion. Luke, how you doing, man? Appreciate you for joining. Port cities. I think Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai had something similar. Yeah, they had it where you could do naval bombardments, but that you never saw the ships and you couldn't actually interact with the ships. I think that would be cool if you could do that. Kind of similar to what you have with Rome 2, but just not as crappy. I think that would be great. What time period do you think Empire 2 would take would be in what time period. I don't know. I mean, frankly, they could do it in a lot of things. I mean, they could start it out in the pike and shot era and expand upon that game, and you develop through time and move, or you could do like that could be the game, and then the DLC comes out next, and you have the same map, but now you're in a different time period, and the same thing, that you have the same game, but the next DLC could be a new time period. Or you could have one that expands the whole shebang, where you go through the whole time period, but you could have different starting points if you wanted. I think that'd be freaking fantastic. Because why not? Empire spanned a pretty darn good amount of time. And if you think about it, Empire, the original game, you start in 1700 and you can go till whenever, but you expanded into past the Napoleonic, technologies. So, I mean, rifling muskets and stuff. I mean, we're almost in the Civil War era here. I mean, that's the thing that was great about Empire, is you could play a campaign and you could take it for long. I mean, sure, you could go and conquer the world pretty quickly and be done, or you could, you had the option where you could screw around and do diplomatic stuff and see how long you could just screw about with doing diplomacy and stuff like that, and fight little battles here, get your empires, and just do the methodical way, which was kind of cool. Like I always, when I played Prussia, I would always start off a campaign where I don't think I started taking over regions like in some of my Prussian campaigns until like the 1720s even. I would stay in that small area and form allies and stuff and go help them with battles and stuff, and then let them get strong, and then try to take them over. It was made kind of a cool campaign. Minecraft's got to go. He needs to get some sleep. Yeah, it is getting pretty late. I think I've said most of what I want to say. I just want to kind of wrap it up. And I appreciate all of you guys for joining the stream. But let me just wrap it up, what my point was on this. Again, there's a lot of talk from a lot of YouTubers about wanting new games and, what games they want and blah, blah, blah. Again, CA has a plan already in place of what they're putting out regardless of what we want. And because they're already in development, folks. They're already in development. So whatever we're sitting here putting on YouTube doesn't really matter to them. They're going to put out what they want. So our hope is, I think, in a competitor. We need a competitor to step up and make a game that obviously there's an interest for. And I think that's where the focus should be. Because there's a lot of people out there that will make those type of games. The guy who made Dark Mod made some games already. One in the Civil War era and one in the Revolutionary time period. That was the Admiral one. I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, hey King, how you doing? Did I miss it? I don't know. I don't know what you missed. What's going on though? But I think that's the big thing. But so I think, again, my point is these guys need to come up with a plan. I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over again because that gets too redundant. But anyways, what are your guys' thoughts? Am I wrong in what I'm saying? Let me know. I think Empire 2 Total War time period should be same. Yeah, I would love to see the same time period executed in an interesting way. And like I said, if it's historical, it's historical. If it's the same time period and done with the same type of things but with just fictional nations, I'm cool with that too. It doesn't have to be France versus Great Britain. It could be something that you are able to customize yourself. Whatever. I mean, this, I think that's one of the things that CA is getting locked down because they made a comment before, CA did, that they weren't going to visit the same things that they've done in the past. They weren't going to go back and do a second game of something. They did make that comment before. So if that's the case, they kind of cornered themselves in, painted themselves in a corner, if you will. But why do you have to make it in a certain time period of actual history? You could make up something. You could make something up and make it your own world. And shoot, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. You could have it. I mean, hell, you could have it Empire Total War type of game with the same time period, the same technologies, the same tactics, all that stuff. But you could change the world building in the game and make it completely different. You could make it a Game of Thrones type of game, but set in the Empire period. I think that would be fantastic. But that's just me. Ian says, I think Empire 2 total time should be... Okay, I already said that. Because infantry tactics are changed in the mid-19th century. Yeah, I think it's really hard for them to do a World War I game. I just don't see a World War I game or a World War II game coming out with this type of style of mechanics for real-time battles. They'd have to completely change the real-time format that they have if they were to do those type of games. Do you guys know the good 18th, 19th century movies? Matter of fact, I do. I know several. And, that brings up a good topic there, Ians, is I've actually been thinking about doing some reviews on movies or even some watch-along parties on the channel. Is that something you guys would be interested in? I'm just curious. Would you guys be interested in a reaction video to movies that are set in this time period? Or would you be more interested in a watch along where if there's 18th or 19th century movie on Netflix or HBO Max or something like that, we could set it up a time period to start the movie, and then we can watch along and we can all comment about it and so on and so forth. Is that something you guys would be interested in? I'm just curious. Let me know in the chat. Going over to the chat, let's see. Old Contemptible says, at King, that moment when the extra bring 150 field guns. Ain't that the truth? I think armor mechanics should be a thing to some extent. I do agree, because they did have it, even in Empire 2. Hopefully, Bears fan says, hopefully Empire 2 artillery guns will be like Shogun 2, Fall of the Samurai, Armstrong guns. Ian says it's impossible to change mechanics to the regiment to squad. I 100% agree with that. Old Contemptible says some have been doing good mods for the 19th century combat for FOTS. That is an impressive looking mod. I've never played it, but it looks very impressive. King says, I also watched the TV series The Pacific. That's my favorite TV show of all time. It's as real as you're going to get. I started watching that one and I really enjoyed it. I haven't finished it yet though, but it's on my list of series to finish. But what I've seen is a very, very good show. Old Contemptible says you'd have to be careful not to get copyrighted. Yeah, that's the how you do it is if we did a watch along party, I wouldn't be able to actually show the movie while we're watching it. I would just have to show me and my big silly face talking about it. I'm currently watching Black Sails. That looks like a very interesting show. I'm interested to know how good that is. Old Contemptible says that would be fun. OFC, I don't know what OFC is. I'm too much of a borderline boomer, I think. uh, let's see. Do you think they will ever release a title that takes place right after the Napoleonic War, all the way to World War I? It could be called Victoria Total War or something like that. A lot of people want that, and I think it would be a very interesting time period. It is a time period they have not done, and again, CA said they would not do time periods they already done, which they've held true to that. They've held true to what they said in that comment. They said they would never do another game in the same time period that they've already done. And since they've made that comment, they've put out the Thrones of Britannia, which was not covered in a time period or an area of battle that they've done before, or war that they've done before. They put out Three Kingdoms, of course, Warhammer. They've put out now Troy. So none of those have been any time periods that they've done. So I think that doing Victoria, might make sense because that's a time period they haven't done before. So yeah. Okay, so back to the topic of movies. There's tons of movies that are great, great movies that I would love to do watch through parties on. I think it'd be pretty fun. But I don't know. I kind of worry because sometimes when I'm watching movies, I'm an emotional type of guy. I really get emotional, but that's not what I worry about. Sometimes I really get into movies and I like my quiet. So sometimes I might need to watch it one time through first and then go back and watch it and I can comment on it then. Cause like when I'm watching movies with like if my mom's around or I watch a movie with her, she likes to talk through movies. It drives me crazy. I don't know how you guys are about that. But if it's the first time watching, I'm like, oh God. Trying to watch it, don't give it away. Okay, so King says, hold on, got to catch back up here. Bears fan, I'd prefer something before the Empire, like 1600, 1700. They haven't done that period either, so that is another possibility. With some finally getting great pike and shot, which kind of sucked in Empire. Yeah, the pikeman thing didn't work out too good. But I will say that those games would be cool, but I really think the most important things that they need to do right is they need to get back to, again, the things that made the games fun, and then I would be on board. And not saying that the Warhammer 2 is not fun, because I'm sure it's fun for a lot of people. It's just not fun for me. I want a game that's fun for me. Old Contemple says that he has an idea. I don't know how to do it. If one or to use small mid unit size and increase the unit limit, could one recruit battalions considering the small units forced into a group formation? Yeah, that is a possibility if you're talking about like World War I and stuff like that. That is possible. Squad size, stuff like that. Dixon, what's going on, man? How are you doing? He says, what's going on? Watching Vorlin. No, I was discussing some of the guys. Hold on, I need a drink. I was discussing some of the other channels like Admiral Prince and Melkor. They've been bringing up an argument about uniting the historical tribes, as they call it, and basically coming together so we get a historical title. And I was saying, I think Vorlin's new video just basically destroyed them. Yeah. Rick Gamer, has the snow gone? Yes, the snow has gone. And I do apologize about the lack of videos over the last, 3 weeks. I didn't bring this topic up, but yeah, after I did my last video, when I was doing the round 1 of my AI versus AI tournament, we got hit with that snowstorm, and our internet here, we did not lose power, but for like a few minutes. But so our power was always on, but our internet kept kind of dropping for like a few minutes at a time, like once every hour or every couple hours. Our internet would drop. So it was kind of hard for me to do those live streams because I want to do the round 2 of that tournament. I want to do it in live stream because I think that's the best way to do it. So I will be doing round 2 of the AI versus AI tournament again on Friday, which I think is tomorrow. So I'll be doing that tomorrow, and then probably on Saturday as well. But anyways, I've got a lot of videos I need to finish editing and get out as well. So I apologize for the lateness of some of the videos. But yes, thank you, Rick. The snow is thankfully gone. It lasted for over I think it lasted for 8 days here, which is pretty long for, I don't think I've ever seen it last that long in this area. When I was a kid, we had it would last like 4 days or 5 days, but never 8. It was crazy. It was so cold you couldn't go out. I mean, we're in the negative temperature. Texas, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. Uncontemptible says, therefore allowing fights that are formed like real battles, I've been able to make pike and shot methods work. Oh, okay. That's cool. But with only 20 units, I can only deploy 4 combined blocks in Vanilla Empire. That is interesting. That is very interesting. I know there's a Medieval 2 mod that covers the time period. I haven't played it myself. I have watched some videos. It looks very interesting. It is something I would like to play at some point because it does look like a pretty fun mod. Let's see. Ulcatable says there's still snow where I am. Wow, that's crazy. King says you're probably the one kid in history class that wouldn't let anyone else answer because you knew every single question and you beat them to it. Wait, is that me he's talking about? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm showing. I'm borderline boomer these days here, guys. King says, I remember those days. I wish I could. I can't remember much of those. Dixon says, I saw Pixelated Apollo, Prince of Macedon, and Sun Jetsu rallied behind Vorlin in his last video. I didn't see that. I'm going to have to check it out. Like I said, I think Vorlin, he makes some great points, and I think Melkor and Admiral Prince, or Price, I'm sorry, it's not Prince, Admiral Price, I think they are trying to be the nice guys, and they're trying to change things, but they're doing it in a nice way. Being the friend to CA is how in my view, this is just in my view, this is how I see it. Vorlin, Admiral Prince, or Price, I keep saying Prince, they're trying to be the nice guys of the YouTube community towards Total War. And then you got Vorlin, who's just saying it like it is. And that's in my opinion. In my view. I need to check out that video, though, Dixon. I'm interested very much so to see that now, because I don't know how I missed that. But I didn't even see Prince of Macedon. I'm not subscribed to Sun Jetsu, so I'll definitely go over and subscribe to him and check him out, see what he has to say. But Vorlin, I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people are subscribed to him. Some people aren't. But, I mean, the points he makes are spot on. Sometimes he gets a little long-winded and a little off-topic in some of his discussions. Sounds like somebody we know, doesn't it? Crazy. Let's see here. Any tips for recording, then posting Empire Total War replays? I sure do. Rick is a great one about doing that. Rome 2 is my top playlist. And he says, yes, great idea to comment on such films. That would be cool. Okay, so to go back, old Contemptible. So any tips for recording and then posting Empire Total War replays, or basically any Total War replays? Yes, I do have some tips on that. There's quite a few screen recorders out there, and I have tried several of them. And if you're wanting something free to use, OBS is a great option, or OBS or Streamlabs OBS is another great option. That's free to use. It does do some pretty good quality. I've also used Fraps, and Fraps is one that I use quite often for replays. I still use Fraps to this day. I actually had to I purchased that, so it did cost me money. We have several YouTubers in here, so they can comment on this too. What screen recorders they think is best. But for me, I use two different screen recorders now. I use Fraps for videos that I'm going to edit and break down. Most of the time, if I'm doing basic like commentary types, I'll record on another program that I purchased, which is actually my editing program I use, which is, Jesus, I don't even remember the name of it. I'm too old or blonde, one of the two. Camtasia is the one that I do a lot of screen recording with, and that's a good screen recorder as well. Once you do that, you need a good editing program, and I use Camtasia. There was another one I used before. God, I can't remember it. And it was... I find Camtasia to be the easiest, but it is a very expensive editing software. There's a lot of free ones out there too. I'm not sure what everyone else uses here. Rick, I don't know what screen editor do you use. And Dixon, I'm not sure which one you use either. And I know that, let's see, Phil Marshall, I don't know if he's still here. He does editing as well. But those are just the ones I use. So there's a lot of trial and error. But if you need tips on it, hit me up on Steam. I can chat with you on that. Okay, so back to the chat. Let's see here. Dixon says, yeah, just in the comments, they all left a comment. Let's see. King says, I need to get back into Empire Total War, get my skills back up to rate. Yeah. Need to get you back in there, my brother. Need to get you back in there. Empire's the thing, you know. Dixon says, Vorlin is very decisive, but I would agree that he makes, I'm sorry, can't even talk right, decent points on fixing Total War. I agree. You know, he goes into a very well thought out argument of what he doesn't like, why it doesn't work. He's got absolutely some great breakdowns. The problem with some of what he does is he gets caught up in a lot of the drama that I think he should just leave that crap out, like this David versus Goliath stuff. I think, you know, if he just kept all the drama stuff out of the videos and just focused on what he's analyzing and breaking down, freaking phenomenal. Freaking phenomenal. Even in this gutting Total Wars multiplayer. That brings me to another good point. Talks about how bad the multiplayer is. He has great points, but there are still flaws that he has in his argument. Now, I think that's another video, though, that I want to do. Talking about his argument in that. Because I think he's right in a lot of things he talks about, but there are some things he's wrong on. And... anyways, Let's see. Rick Gamer says a World at War, great series. Naval battles and dreadnoughts. That is a game I would love to check out. I haven't done it yet. Dixon, or what is that? The World of Warships and all that. That's similar to that one, isn't it? Dixon says, just for editing, I would recommend DaVinci Resolve. It's free, lots of features, and will run on pretty much any machine. Yeah, he is definitely a drama queen. You're absolutely right. King, are you a strategy gamer, or are you into games like Call of Duty and those two? To be honest with you, Call of Duty, the last time I've really played Call of Duty, like legit played it, was on PlayStation 2. and like, so when I have my kids and I'm playing games, it's difficult now for me to play PlayStation games or Xbox games. I just don't find them as enjoyable anymore. There is some games I can play, like when they have me play some of the Lego games with them. Those are pretty fun because they're pretty funny. I think the only game, and this is going to be old school, but that I enjoy still probably playing is the old Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That game still pretty much holds up. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but that was a pretty darn fun game. But yeah, as far as other games, I don't really do the first person shooters. I'm terrible about it. At it, I'm too old anymore to play those games. I know there's a lot of old guys that still play it, but it's not my strong point, I guess. Let's see. Contemptible. It was to Dixon. I'm sorry. Okay. N says World of Warships is good, but I turned into hide and shoot game like Sniper is so boring. Yeah, that's interesting. I think a lot of the first person shooter gets like that too. Not that I would know. What about Zelda? Zelda, I only played a little bit. My first wife played Zelda a lot, and she hogged up the Zelda gaming. I never really got to play it. I was big into Madden football and football games at that time. I was a big Madden player. My first wife called herself the Madden football widow because I played so much Madden. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean those are other games. I actually as far as newer games that I've played, I'll tell you, like, there's this, I've played 33 hours. I've probably surprised I haven't played more than that. Domina is pretty fun. You can see it's like pixel art. It's a very fun game though. I don't think it's that much either. Come on, go to the store page. Why isn't it going to the store page? There it is. Overwhelmingly positive. It's a great game. It came out in 2017. It's only $10, guys. I mean, it's not bad, and it's cool. It's like, so it's a strategy game where you can actually fight as a gladiator, or you can just be a manager and manage, which is what I do because I can't really do the slash them up like I used to. But I just let the gladiators fight on their own. I just manage their skills, what they learn and stuff. But it's a really fun game if you guys ever want a little cool pixelated game where you manage gladiators. It's really cool. A lot of fun. The other game I had a lot of fun with recently was, where is it? Turmoil. Turmoil was pretty darn fun. I enjoy that one. Actually, I just got the new DLC for it, and I haven't even played it yet. It is a pretty cool game. I don't know if maybe they got some new DLC, but I enjoyed it. Turmoil is really good. I actually see there's YouTube videos on it. It's actually, it can get really really enjoyable. Let me see how many hours I got on that one. I've got 65 hours on that one. So I haven't played in a little bit, but it's one that I played recently. I've enjoyed a lot. Revolutionary War lasted 7 years. 236 years later, the news is obsessed with the British. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Let's see. Is Empire 2 a thing or a wish? I think it is a wish. People want Empire 2 to be made. It is a very requested thing. But right now it is just a wish. It's a thing that people want, especially the Empire Total War community. We want the game to be done and done right. But we don't know. I mean, it's just a lot of question there. Let's see. Ulcan Temple says, I never got into console games generally, as only my cousins had them. It's kind of a cultural blind spot for me relative to my age bracket. You know, I used to play a lot of console games, but I don't know, for maybe as I've just gotten older, I've lost the interest in those type of games. You know, actually, there is one that I played on PlayStation 2. It's funny. I can't believe I just thought of this. There was a Warhammer game. I think it was Warhammer. I'm almost positive. Now I got to look it up on YouTube because I think it was. I'm almost positive it was Warhammer. Or maybe it was. Hell, I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it was PlayStation. God, that would have been old. Yeah, it was. It was on PlayStation. It was The Shadow of the Horned Rat. Yeah, that's it right there. I mean, I'm pointing to it on my screen. You guys can't see who I'm pointing at. But it's this one right here. Warhammer Shadow of the Horned Rat. It actually was really cool. So it gave you like a scenario. So it almost had like a turn-based feel to it. And then you go and fight the battles real time. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool game. Hard as shit, but I enjoyed it. And that was on console. PlayStation. That's back in the day now. Memories. Let's see. Anyone else play Railroad Tycoon 2 or 1602 AD? I have not. Those would be pretty fun, I think. I've always looked at those and contemplated getting them, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. King, I am currently watching someone play The Last of Us, and it is an awesome game. That one does look cool, I will admit. Ulcan Temple says I only know 40k from hearsay, the wiki, and what if Emperor had a text-to-speech device. I use NVIDIA Shadow Play. So, anyways, well, guys, I think this stream has gone on for quite a while, hour and a half. I don't really have anything really too much else. But anyways, I appreciate you guys joining along for the stream. And I do appreciate you guys' input on if I was to do movies about the time period of this Empire Total War. You know, because that's definitely something I've thought about, is doing a watch along party or a reaction video, if you will. I think that would be pretty cool to do some of those. So that might be something you see from me here in the future. I think that would be pretty enjoyable. Get us up in our Empire glory. If we can't have Empire 2, we'll have fun somehow. Anyways, guys, I appreciate it so much for you guys for joining along. And we will see you tomorrow for a AI versus AI round 2 of our tournament. I'm not sure what time. I might do it early. I'm not sure. I will have the time up there scheduled for you at some point tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys as always. I'll see